everyone, it's Fletch. I'm the Northeast Regional Director for the National Emergency Number Association. Here's an audio version of our Fall 2024 update. First up, upcoming events. Be sure to save the date for NENA's 2025 conferences. Coming up first, in January 12th through 15th, is the NG911 Standards and Best Practices Conference in Clearwater, Florida. That's followed by the Artificial Intelligence Critical Issues Forum on January 16th and 17th, also in Clearwater. NENA will be holding a 1.5-day Critical Issues Forum on Artificial Intelligence, right after the NENA SBP in Clearwater. Stay tuned for more details and registration information. Coming up in February on the 23rd through 26th is 911 Goes to Washington in Arlington, Virginia. And don't forget the 2025 NENA Conference and Expo. That'll be June 21st through the 26th in Long Beach, California. The NENA 2025 call for papers is now open through October 31st. You can visit nena.org/NENA 2025-CFP to submit a session proposal. We hope to see you there. Some notes on membership. NENA is entering the 2025 dues year, and that's with more than 22,000 members. We look forward to a great year with this vibrant community of 911 professionals. The 2025 membership renewal session will kick off on October 1st, 2024. Be sure to watch your inbox for your renewal notice in early October. Now, when you renew, don't forget to make sure that your profile and contact information is current and correct so that you don't miss any communications from NENA. And remember, if you couldn't take advantage of group memberships, now is a great time to share the extensive and exclusive benefits of a NENA membership with more of your staff. Group memberships allow you to save on the cost of membership, get more people involved, and they provide exclusive benefits that are not available anywhere else. You can learn more at nena.org/groups. For association business, a new board of directors was sworn in at the NENA 2024 Conference and Expo in Orlando this year. At the conference, the new board president, Melanie Jones, announced her priorities for the year. These include advocating for next-generation 911 funding, seeing telecommunicators reclassified as a protective service occupation, furthering diversity, equity, and inclusion, helping everyone in 911 improve their wellness and resiliency, and addressing the 911 staffing crisis. 2 new members have joined the board, with Roxanne Van Gundy elected as second vice president, and the appointment of our new Western director, Stephanie Johnson. NENA will soon open board nominations application windows for the positions of second vice president, Northeastern Region Director, and North Central Region Director, as well as the Canadian Region Director. Watch for an announcement on the NENA website and your member newsletter. Under education and training, NENA recently launched its new online NENA Plus learning management system, which is now home to our NENA online webinars. This fall, NENA ILO courses will also be delivered through this platform, which will allow students to get immediate results on testing and access to their course certificates. The Education Advisory Board is developing on-demand training content that is projected to be available in 2025. You can access the LMS at learn.nena.org. NENA's on-demand 40-hour training course for new dispatchers, entitled Telecommunicator Core Competencies, continues to gain traction. This includes securing the multi-year statewide contract in Oklahoma. You can check it out and learn more at nena.org/TCC. And NENA is working with Canadian SMEs to review and revise all course content to ensure that accurate information is delivered to our Canadian membership. We're also working with each state to ensure we meet their training requirements and, in some cases, certify our courses to meet reimbursement and credit requirements. A new course is being beta tested this fall and should be included on the course catalog for 2025. NENA's Instructor Development Course is a 40-hour program providing training on how to be an effective classroom instructor. The first 3 days will be an in-person workshop where students will be given a project and then return a month later to deliver their lesson plan and teach a course over 2 days. Mentoring Program Update. NENA recently launched the first cohort of the new Transformative Empowerment and Mentoring, or TEAM program. This 6-month-long program empowers future leaders of the 911 community, allowing them to achieve personal and professional growth. TEAM program participants will receive personalized guidance, support, and inspiration by fostering meaningful, transformative connections that are centered around growth, diversity, and respect. You can learn more at nena.org/team, and be sure to watch your member newsletter for information on how you can sign up to be either a mentor or mentee in our second cohort starting in spring of 2025. Reclassification update. In the U.S. House of Representatives, the 911 Saves Act, H.R. 6319, saw some historic movement. Namely, the House Committee on Education and the Workforce held a markup session and ultimately passed the bill out of committee. However, due to a long-standing policy on the committee to not interfere in a research-based agency, the committee passed an amended version of the bill which directs the Office of Management Budget, OMB, to consider reclassification versus the original text which would require OMB to reclassify 911 telecommunicators as protective service personnel, as listed in the Standard Operational Classification, or SOC, system. Now, while NENA is disappointed with the outcome, it's important to note that the committee took the same approach to several other reclassification bills that were up for reconsideration, and multiple members delivered strong oral support during the markup session. This is a positive development, since it showed Congress's intent for OMB to indeed reclassify 911 professionals. Furthermore, the committee wanted to go one step further in showing its overall support of reclassification. Typically, when a bill is reported out of committee, the staff would put together a committee report that accompanied the bill to the House floor. This language usually goes into more details of the bill and how the committee, and ultimately Congress, would like the bill implemented at the agency level. The report also restructures the bill to focus on only its action clauses, and usually removes the findings clauses. These finding clauses, located at the beginning of the bill, are usually addressing the need for the bill and not actually legislative in nature. It's more of a preamble. But to highlight the importance of 911 telecommunicators, the committee did not remove this language from the final bill and kept these findings within the text. In the Senate, the 911 Saves bill was on the agenda as an amendment to a larger bill at a July markup of the Senate Energy and Commerce Committee. However, the markup derailed as senators could not agree on spectrum policy, and Chairwoman Cantwell closed the markup without addressing the larger bill that 911 Saves was attached to. While this was also disappointing, it is important to point out that since the Saves Act was on the agenda, all of the members of the committee had a chance to see it, and none of them raised an objection. This shows the bill's overall support within the committee. NENA is now trying to convince committee leadership to waive the bill out of committee due to this overwhelming show of support. At the moment, it is unclear if the committee will have a markup before the election, but we're eyeing the lame duck session in November and December for potential legislative action. On August 12th, NENA, along with APCO, NASNA, and many other organizations and advocates, submitted a filing to the OMB on reclassification. This filing is in response to the OMB's notice on its decennial process of reviewing the Standard Occupational Classification System, or SOC, and as part of our filing, NENA explained the life-saving nature of 911 telecommunicators and emphasized the inherent differences in training, responsibilities, and deployment of 911 dispatchers versus commercial dispatchers. Following this comment period, the OMB will begin its nationwide survey of the workforce, which will wrap up sometime in 2027. At that point, OMB will then release its proposed revisions to the SOC and then seek a last round of public comment before issuing its final decision in 2028. At this time, it's critical that all NENA members update their job description to reflect the work that they do so that it will appear on OMB's report. NG 911 funding update. Congress is still deadlocked on spectrum policy that could potentially fund NG 911. Back in May, NENA and APCO did meet with Speaker Johnson, along with members of the Louisiana chapter, and at the meeting, he agreed to look into the House legislation, H.R. 3565, that had been derailed due to a spectrum dispute regarding the Department of Defense spectrum. NENA's ask was that the Speaker bring the bill up to a vote by the full House in an effort to nudge the Senate to end its current gridlock. In the Senate, Senator Cantwell and the chair of the Senate Energy and Commerce unveiled a spectrum package that she has had trouble getting momentum for. The bill would have very little spectrum auctioned and thus decreasing the revenue that it would generate. As such, the bill would only fund $2 billion towards Next Generation 911, which is an outcome that NENA is not very pleased with. However, that bill is facing mounting criticism from the industry, advocates, and other senators, and was twice pulled off a pre-announcement markup for consideration, further highlighting its unpopularity. With the upcoming election on everyone's mind, it's unlikely to see any action after November 5th. The FCC NG 911 order. On July 18th, the Federal Communications Commission adopted a new framework to facilitate the transition to NextGen 911 by establishing rules that provide a fair and reasonable path towards fully implementing NextGen 911 services across the United States. Under these new rules, which were approved unanimously, originating service providers, or OSPs, which included phone and internet companies, face a new critical timeline. They must connect to NG 911 core services networks with Internet Protocol, or IP, and Session Initiation Protocol, or SIP, within 6 to 12 months of receiving a request from a local 911 center. After completing this initial connection, OSPs have an additional 6 to 12 months after receiving a second request to fully upgrade their system to handle NG 911 compliant calls. These rules also empower local governments to tailor transition timelines and requirements to best suit their specific local circumstances. The FCC's order references multiple NENA standards in the transition framework, including recognizing the NENA i3 standard as the only acknowledged commonly accepted standard for NG 911 core services. NENA has convened a valid request task force in collaboration with ADIS to develop the framework for testing NG 911 core service networks and making a valid request to OSPs. If you're interested in this work, you can contact NENA Chief Technology Officer and ADIS Emergency Services Chair Brandon Abley at babley@nena.org. Staffing resources. NENA has a suite of workforce recruitment resources to help 911 centers attract talent to the emergency communications profession and address the 911 staffing crisis. The 4 video PSAs that are available for free to any 911 center or 911 authority promote the rewarding and meaningful jobs that are available in the emergency communications field. They can be used in recruiting and hiring efforts to reach candidates and educate them about the benefits of a career in 911. You can also view and download the videos at nena.org/recruitment-PSAs. ENP certification. If you're ready to take the next step in your career and have satisfied the eligibility requirements, start planning now to earn your ENP certification in 2025. Get a leg up in your preparation by ordering the ENP Reference Manual, version 6.1, and by participating in one of our study groups. Now, when you apply to take the ENP exam, the course will include a free electronic version of the ENP study guide. The application deadline for the Winter 2025 ENP exam is December 20th, 2024. The Spring 2025 application deadline is March 7th, 2025. There's a video podcast series about becoming an ENP on NENA's YouTube page at youtube.com/911-NENA911. You can also get all the videos and learn more at nena.org/ENP. Wellness initiatives. NENA has the NENA Continuum web portal as an essential stress and mental health resource. This is the repository for all things 911 wellness, and we have a team of subject matter experts that are working to ensure that the NENA website provides the tools and resources that NENA members need to stay healthy, physically, mentally, and organizationally. Learn more at nena.org/continuum. 988. The 911-988 Interaction Standards second public review closed September 23rd. Comment adjudication began immediately following the closing of the comment period. There are some new developments with geo-routing for wireless calls to 988. On September 17, 2024, Vibrant deployed geo-routing for 2 of 3 major carriers, T-Mobile and Verizon. AT&T is also working towards deploying sometime in Q4. Geo-routing for the remainder of the rural wireless carriers will take time. There are no firm dates set for these carriers, and more information will be provided as we receive it. This is strictly a voluntary deployment. At this time, the FCC has not created any rules requiring the geocoding of 988 calls. NG911 standards and resources. NENA's NG911 standards development activity continues to progress and grow. We're anticipating the publication of NG-Sec v2, which is a core cybersecurity document for NG911 this fall. Development on other specifications like I3, NG-PSAP, EIDO, and EIDO conveyance is all ongoing. Document updates. Documents published in 2024 include the GIS Data Transition Information Document dated September 2024, Next Generation 911 United States Civic Location Data Exchange Format CLDXF-US Standard Version 2 in June 2024. Moving civic location data between datasets compliant with the FGDC and NENA CLDXF-US Address Data Standards Reference Document, dated June 2024. Demarcation Points in NG911 Information Document, version 2 in May of 2024. And the Spoofing Mitigation Information Document, version 3, dated April 2024. Currently in stable form notice, Security for Next Generation 911 Standard and ANS Candidate Document. Currently in public review, Virtual PSAP Management Standard and ANS Candidate Document, Standard for 911-988 Interactions and ANS Candidate Document, Civic Location Data Exchange Format, CLDXF for Canada, and Standard for the Conveyance of EIDOs in NG911 version 2 an ANS candidate document. 4 documents are currently in all-committee review and include non-conventional means for communicating with E911 Standard, an ANS candidate document, a Standard for Communication Center PSAP Daily Personnel Operations, an ANS candidate document, NG911 Operational Diversity and Redundancy Information Document, and Transition to I3 PSAP Standard, an ANS candidate document. Getting involved. NENA has 11 committees and 37 working groups dedicated to the development of the standards, information, and requirements documents that are at the heart of NENA's mission to empower its members and the 911 community to provide the best possible emergency response. By staying abreast of new and emerging technologies and best practices, NENA's committees and working groups develop standards for 911 technology and operations. that ensure 911 is prepared to meet the needs of anyone requesting emergency assistance. NENA's success as a standards development organization is attributed to the people who volunteer their time and expertise in our working groups. Anyone is qualified to join any of NENA's working groups, and you don't need to be a NENA member to contribute. You can find current calls for volunteers in your member newsletter or visit nena.org/volunteer to search for working groups that are seeking participants. PSAP Registry and Census. Earlier this year, NENA launched the Enhanced PSAP Registry and Census EPRC 2.0. This map-centric database tool is designed specifically for PSAP call takers that are facing unusual call transfer situations. The new version contains many updates and enhancements, including a simplified and easier-to-use interface, what 3-word search capability, forgotten username or password links on the login screen, and a revised and simplified way to report errors in the EPRC. You can sign up at nena.org/EPRC. NENA asks that PSAP points of contact log in and verify that contact information and PSAP boundaries for their agency are accurate. NextGen 911 Interoperability Oversight Commission, or NIOC, update. The PSAP Credentialing Agency, or PCA, serves as the foundation of trust within the Next Generation 911 framework. By establishing a Public Key Infrastructure, or PKI, the PCA ensures secure interjurisdictional interoperability using digital certificates. This creates a reliable chain of trust, and in essence, the PCA's PKI delivers standards-based security that safeguards NG911 systems. There's been growing interest in the services delivered by the PCA, and in response to market feedback, a new strategic approach and update pricing model will soon be introduced. The PCA PKI is available to 911 authorities, next-generation core service providers, commercial entities, as well as federal government agencies. The NextGen 911 Interoperability Oversight Committee, or NIOC, is currently engaged with several organizations that have expressed interest in subscribing to the PCA PKI. The Forest Guide is an enhancement to location-based routing designed to provide routing solutions when no specific destination is available for a given location. It assists the NG911 network in identifying the appropriate network for routing calls across state lines, and eventually international borders. Currently, the Forest Guide is undergoing technical updates and is scheduled for testing at the Industry Collaboration Event, or ICE, in October of 2024. This test will assess its market readiness. The NIOC is actively working with the vendor, Intrado, to develop a comprehensive market strategy. This will include product demonstrations and webinars to promote the Forest Guide. That concludes the Fall 2024 audio version of the NENA update. I'm Mark Fletcher, I'm Northeast Regional Director for NENA. Feel free to contact me at mfletcher@nena.org for any comments, questions, or input you may have. On behalf of NENA, the 911 Association, thanks for listening, thanks for what you do, stay safe, and have a great day.